Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Recycled Content, a podcast of the Association of Plastic Recyclers, an international nonprofit and the only North American organization focused exclusively on improving recycling for plastics. I'm Kara Pochiro, and I'll be your host today. Launched in celebration of the 30th anniversary of the APR Design Guide for Plastics Recyclability, the APR Recycling Leadership Awards recognize package designers, manufacturers, researchers, or innovators who are improving recycling for plastics. Winners were announced during the Plastics Recycling Conference earlier this year with award categories that focus on unique contributions moving plastics recycling forward. We've had our other winners on a series of podcasts, and today we are talking with Jun Wang with Colgate-Palmolive, who is the winner of the Design Innovation Award. Focused on oral care, personal care, home care, and pet nutrition, Colgate-Palmolive is an international company selling their products in more than 200 countries and territories under multiple brands. They are recognized for leadership and innovation in promoting sustainability and community well-being, including achievements in decreasing plastic waste and promoting recyclability, which is, of course, what we're talking about today. Colgate-Palmolive spearheaded a paradigm shift in package design. Historically, tubes were a non-recyclable packaging format made with mixed materials. The prevalence of aluminum foil as a barrier layer was particularly problematic for the recycling process. Dr. Jun Wang led groundbreaking innovation to design and manufacture a mono-material toothpaste tube. Thanks to Dr. Wang's leadership, the company received APR Design Recognition in 2019 and subsequently shared its intellectual property publicly, thereby helping to rapidly shift an entire product category to packaging that can be captured in the existing HDPE recycling stream. Jun currently works as a director in packaging innovation, global packaging group at Colgate-Palmolive Company. He has a PhD in polymer chemistry and over 30 years experience in polymers. Between 2014 and 2020, he led the development of the award-winning first-of-its-kind recyclable plastic tube, which we'll be talking about today, and together with ACS Green Chemistry Institute, founded Natural Polymers Consortium in August 2024 and is assuming its co-chair role. In November 2024, Wang co-initiated ACS Natural Polymers Convergent Chemistry Community, or CCC, with 5 ACS divisions. Both organizations are formed to promote an alternative solution to curb plastic pollution from underexplored areas of natural polymers. Lots to take in there about Colgate-Palmolive as well as Dr. Jun Wang. So welcome and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Kara.
So as we often talk about, smart, robust public policies are essential to reducing plastic waste and improving recycling. Many companies, including Colgate-Palmolive, also have publicly stated sustainability commitments. What other motives are driving innovation in recyclable packaging design for the personal care sector?
Our commitments on sustainability are guided by a strategy centered on the purpose of reimagining a healthier future for all people, their pets, and our planet. We have 3 core ambitions. Number one is driving social impact. For example, our flagship global oral health education program, Colgate Bright Smile and Bright Future, has reached billions of children and their families worldwide. Number 2, to helping millions of homes, empowering people to develop healthier habits by choosing sustainable products that improve their lives and homes. Number 3 is to preserving our environment. So our innovation in recyclable packaging design is one effort to help us achieving our ambitions. So therefore, we develop and share the technology for this first of its kind recyclable toothpaste tube, which is now accessible in over 70 countries. So meanwhile, our innovation is governed by a people-centric model This means every steps we take, from improving product formulas to design sustainable packaging and launching community programs, is measured by its ability to deliver a positive impact on health and well-being. As a CPG leader, we are fundamentally driven by the consumers' clear demand for products that align with their values for both personal health and environmental sustainability.
This tube fits right in, of course. It was a long journey from the starting point of wanting to create a recyclable tube. So, walk us through that journey and the barriers you've had to overcome along the way.
Yeah, this is really a long journey, and we're still on it. So it all started at the end of 2013. So at that time, we were facing the challenge that as a major consumer products company and a global leader in oral care, our number one packaging, which is tube, does not have a good end-of-life solution. So the reason that the tube is designed this way is because it needs to deliver multiple functions simultaneously, such as its mechanical protection to the products, which is a toothpaste, and the barrier to protect that the flavor within the tube, and also the convenience for the consumer to squeeze and dispense toothpaste. So all this functionality require the different material to be incorporated into the structure. And most of it is like we have the aluminum foil you mentioned earlier as a barrier, so which definitely prevent its recyclability. So therefore, at that year, 2013, we were really facing a challenge: how we can make our number one packaging recyclable. So I think at that time we gave really deep thought whether we want to recycle the tube in a special way, or we want to redesign the whole tube to let it go into the existing recycling stream, which is, of course, at that time, PET and HDPE. And actually, we tried both. And HDPE is the winning technology. We also have a PET technology. So, but today we will focus on this HDPE version of the recyclable tube. And I think at that time, a big help, we really appreciated that the APR at that time have this design guide and the testing protocol for us to really have some guidance to design and test against. So we're really starting from that year, 2013, we started to attend the APR conference 3 times a year to learn what the APR has already published and is being developed. We want to work together with APR to see how we can work together to design a non-recyclable format, turn it into a recyclable format. And therefore, we also need to understand a lot of this recycling stream, how these recycling processes are working, and to understand what's the pain point of each step. If we have some like material, mixed material that causes non-recyclable, and why, and therefore we can design against it and to eliminate it. So there's a lot of learning that we learned from the APR design guide and also the testing protocol. We did use the at that time the testing protocol and also the improved version of the testing protocol to test multiple times to see, yes, because this lab test will help us to get the feedback at a small scale instead of really run to the production large scale and go to do it at the reclaimers facility. That will be too slow and too costly. And so when we designed this recyclable tube, it went through 5 different phases. Yeah, it's I still remember the phase 1. The tube coming is ugly because nobody used the HDPE to blow a film to make the tube. So our first tube has like orange peels. The surface is very, very rough. But the good thing is we say, yes, we see the feasibility. You can use a material HDPE, which people do not necessarily use it a lot for film, for flexible like packaging. And after we did this phase 1 trial, we really gained the confidence it's durable. So therefore, the phase 2 is mainly improved version. We focus on how to make the surface smooth and how to really blow that film in a smooth way. And by working with our film supplier at that time, we did achieve that because each this like phase takes a year to like back and forth to change the structure, change the formulation, and to make it work. So that's basically phase two. Phase two is to make the surface smooth. And after that, we noticed that because when we design this tube layer structure in a asymmetrical way, that caused the laminate itself not flat. This will affect our tube making process. It's not necessarily the material itself. It's more related to the processing and the functionality. And if we do not have a flat laminate, we cannot make a very round shaped tube. So that will affect our tube filling process because we do not. If you have oval-shaped like tube, the nozzle is difficult to like stick into the tube to fill it. You have to make it work on every process because we want to retrofit this new laminate onto the existing machines. We do not want to like incorporate too much capital investment on the machine side. So that's the basically phase three is we change the layer structure to make this laminate flat, and by incorporating different grades of HDPE into it and put them into the different layer to make it really flat. Phase four is more like optimization. So we want to make sure that with this new structure, it can still be made on the existing film blowing process as well as the lamination process. And then we can do it in our following processes, including like we slit the tube into the narrow web, we print it on them, we put them on the tube making machine, and they should be run at the same speed as our current web. And our machine actually, tube making machine is very well tuned for the existing laminate. So we can produce the tubes as fast as 600 tubes per minute. So this is a very challenging. It's more like engineering challenge. It's not as a material challenge. If you can run it on that fast speed machine, and so there you can imagine a lot of optimization work being done. So that's on the phase four. The phase five is more scale up. We want to make sure we can scale up and produce that in hours and even days, and then we turn that into months production. Make sure yes, they can be done. And meanwhile, when we finish phase four, we also make some tubes and then do the APR recyclability, the critical guidance test. And that's I think 2019, we got the recognition from the APR on this tube. So basically that proved that by redesign our structure and make it compatible with HDPE recycling stream, it can at least technically be called technical recyclable, and it will not affect the recycling processes. Phase 5 was done on 2020. So then we started to move to the commercialization, and we first commercialized in our Thomas May brand, and then we gradually launched it in other divisions like in Europe, Asia. So I can proudly say by now, our goal is by 2025, we would convert all our tubes to this recyclable structure. Right now, we've achieved over 95% of the tubes had already been converted into this recyclable tube. And meanwhile, you mentioned we share this technology and to encourage any tube users, tube producers to take this technology to come up with their version of recyclable tube. I say we're still on the journey because achieve the technical recyclable is not enough. So we still need to achieve like the practical recyclable. So that's what we are doing right now. And during this journey, there are some challenges I think I can think of is to make this like a monomaterial achieve all functions and all functions that the multiple material can deliver, and also retrofit this new laminate to the existing process and achieve the cost neutral. Those are the very challenging work. And we're glad to say that up to now, we are almost there. And we have all the technology and also optimization on the processes and to achieve that and also commercialize them globally already.
Such a great story of this collaborative, multi-phase effort that took multiple years to come to fruition. And as you mentioned, Colgate did share this innovation with the rest of the industry because you didn't want to just see your tubes recyclable. You wanted everyone else to have recyclable tubes as well, which is very commendable, which is something we cite often because a lot of companies will develop some great innovations, but they keep them proprietary. So it was really great to see that Colgate was willing to share their innovation for the betterment of the industry as a whole. What is needed to achieve that widespread adoption of recyclable design?
Yeah, I think I like to give some credit to APR for sure, because when we first come up with this technology and we brought this to APR, one term we heard from APR is look like a product. It's more like you do yours, like make it recyclable, but if other people do not use this technology, but your tubes still look like the same. And in this MRF or the sorting facility, people cannot tell which one is recyclable and which one is not. So therefore, that gave us really bring us to think about this deeply. So we cannot just make our tube recyclable, and there is no like benefit to keep this only technology secret to ourselves. So this is technology actually will really bring this benefit to the whole society. Only if everybody converted to this similar structure, and then this whole format of the packaging can be recyclable or can be really practically recycled. So therefore, Colgate decision was yes, in order to really make the change to the world, to bring this sustainability benefit to the society, we cannot keep this technology secretly. So we need to share this with the public and as well as gain the common momentum to work together. So this is not, first of all, plastic is not one company's issue. It's an issue of this whole value chain. And also to find a solution, it definitely is not a single company can provide the whole solution. Collaboration is the key. And also we need to really get everybody to work together, and also under some guidance that APR can provide, can work together so to change the world is not an easy thing to say. So when you work on it, you have to build up the common effort to work together.
Change is definitely not easy, and that's something that we're working on every day at APR with member companies like Colgate. So it's been great working with you on this project. Any tips for other brands or packaging suppliers looking to make the case for design changes within their company?
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily tips. It's more like my feeling when I went through this journey. So I have 3 points I would like to mention. The first is we need to be bold to start, because at the very beginning, when we think about this, our existing tube, which has the aluminum in it, we call it ABL, aluminum barrier laminate. The idea was that we need everything. We need all the material to provide the functions. There was no way to eliminate any of them. So that's the original thoughts. And so therefore, at the very beginning, we have thought maybe it's not possible. So that's why at the very beginning, we just said, let's give it a try. That's why when we think about the HDPE, the industry, as I mentioned, industry did not use the HDPE as a common material for film, for flexible packaging. And also like aluminum is a very good barrier. So did we at that very beginning have a very good solution? I'd say we did not. We just say, let's give it a try. Let's be brave enough to start. So we can think critically and act decisively, but we need to start. We cannot just think too much, and which prevent us from getting started. So that's number one, learning. And the second is the collaboration. I keep saying this thing, we need to collaborate. It's not just one company try to push technology out and hope everybody will accept it. And first of all, there's no such thing that a company can develop uniquely the technology that only rely on its own resources. And collaboration is more important, especially in this sustainability and environmental area. And we need like association like APR, who can provide the guidance and who already gather together the recyclers and the value chain and reach certain consensus so we can work on it. So for example, the design guide, which definitely help us to choose what direction to go. And also the value chain collaboration is Colgate as end tube user, even though we do a lot of like in-house tube making, but we do not necessarily incorporate including all the value chain. So like a resin producer and the film converter, we still need to work with them to choose the best grades for this film and also choose the best processing to make the film. It's challenging to, at least at the very beginning, to use the HDP to make the large scale to make the films. We need to work really with our filmmakers to see how we can really optimize the process, the filmmaking process to make it work. And number three, I would say, luckily, a good partner is the key. And I still remember when I first brought this idea to our film converter, I got a very encouraging response. And I think he said, Dr. Wang, let's just try it. So that's a good thing. And looking back, if I heard some things that, no, this is ridiculous, then it might be killed at that time. So a good partner is also very key. So you need to go along with you to have your vision and be bold as bold as you are.
Great tips. So perseverance, push boundaries, be willing to try new things, collaborate, of course, and find those good partners to collaborate with. So great advice there. Have you taken that to any new innovations that you're working on that you can talk about today?
Yeah, that's something that we're working on. So I think in the recent years, our work packaging innovation will focus more and more, or is focusing more and more on sustainability. And two examples I can share that we are working on. One is we are trying to develop some material to fit the new bottle making process. And they're a little bit maybe too technical, but anyway, in general, so we all know that the bottle, you have PET bottle, you have HDPE bottle. For the HDPE bottle, normally you use the extrusion blow molding process to make it. For the PET bottle, you use the ISBM. And so it's kind of the common practice. And what we are trying to see is, can we find something in between? Meaning we are exploring the possibility to use the ISBM process to make the HDPE bottle. There are a lot of sustainability benefit. For example, PET coming from the ISBM, which is a faster, quick process, but the PET recycling stream, you only have the clear PET. When you have try to use the colored PET bottle, it causes problems in the recycling.
Right.
But the brand has its some color is the brand color. You have to use some color packaging. So therefore, we're seeing whether we can use the HDPE, because HDPE you have two string, natural as well as colored HDPE string. So if we can use the ISBM, which is a fast bottle making process, to make the HDPE bottle, and then we can gain both the sustainability as well as the productivity. So this is something we're working with the industry, and we're very promising to find a solution. And another area under packaging sustainability is the paper packaging. And I think as a lot of brands, CPG company, they are trying to work on the alternative material for packaging. Paper is one option, and there are a lot of efforts in this area. We are also working in this area, and especially on the flexible packaging side, because we think that for the rigid packaging like bottles, you kind of have the solution, technical solution. APR provide a lot of guidance in this area already. And and also you have the existing recycling streams to take these rigid packaging bottles back for recycling. For flexible, it's more challenging. And even though I think APR has a design guide on the flexible packaging, but the reality is a lot of MRF does not even take this flexible packaging into their feedstock. So therefore, we'll consider whether there's another way to do this flexible packaging. So we're exploring the paper packaging to see whether there is a potential to be used. And it's also challenging. As I mentioned, yes, we have to think boldly and to take steps And we're sure there will be a lot of problems coming, but our mindset is we can solve the problems as we are moving forward.
Right, right. So lots that you're working on that could really lead to some big changes in the industry overall, because you're talking about still collaborating beyond just Colgate-Palmolive, but with other groups and companies as well. As I mentioned earlier, you also do a lot of work with the Natural Polymers Consortium that you co-chair. Anything that you'd like to share that's happening on that front, or what are some things that you're looking forward to?
I think one key thought was material innovation needed to help address the plastic waste pollution problems. And the current measures to address that issue basically is working within the existing technology, like recycling, making the plastic bio-based or biodegradable. And we think we are a believer of the plastic recycling. We think plastic recycling works, but we have to be realistic, take some realistic thinking. Let's say optimistically foresee by 2050. So the world can achieve the 50% of plastic recycled level from current 9%. That's a big achievement already, but still you are facing the remaining 50%. You do not have a better way. So therefore we like to see, are there any other solutions we can bring on the table? And we also notice that the plastics we think plastics definitely are very great innovation in the 20th century. But there are two issues on the plastic side. So first, it was designed without considering the end of life. So plastic is designed purely for like functionality, efficiency, production efficiency, and the cost. And end of life was never designed at the first place for plastics. And the second issue for the plastics, sometimes plastics are over-engineered for some applications. So for example, for the shopping bags, you don't need these shopping bags after you dispose it to last for hundreds of years over there. So you want it like after use it disappear in a way. And also some like disposable food service items, you use it once, but yeah, even though you throw it away, it will stay there forever. Forever means hundreds of years. So in this sense, and also some packaging items, it's over-engineered. So that gave us a room to seek some other material, even though they might not be as good as the plastics to achieve certain functions, but they would be good enough. So that's the whole idea. We like to explore the other options. So therefore, last year, after two years of preparation work, we co-founded this Natural Polymer Consortium with the ACS Green Chemistry Institute. So just to explore the opportunity of the natural polymers as a material. Actually, there are some emerging products commercialized already. For example, people say PHA is a good material. Yes, PHA is different from the synthetic plastics. It's a bacteria-make polyester. So we call it a natural polymers. And also there are starch, like thermoplastic starch has been already commercialized. So there are several commercialized products, and those companies, right now they are the founding members of the NPC. We just like to work together to see how we can work together to find some alternative material to partially replace a certain application of plastics. So, and another thing we're thinking for the NPC is we want to have this NPC as a platform for the communication and the collaboration for the solution. I think in the plastic area, there are a lot of finger pointing. That's not necessarily good for the solution. We want to promote the solution. So we want to collaborate with academia, industry, as well as NGOs to thinking about the solution instead of a finger pointed who should be blamed. So I think we all need to have a good solution to work together. So this is to build up this positive working environment to push things forward. So another thing, I really like to say is hopefully we can grow NPC like the APR did in the past decades. And I saw how APR grow in the past 13, 15 years. And yes, it's amazing. We like to sincerely seek APR's insight and guidance build up strong associations.
We would be happy to work with you. It sounds like you're very busy coming up with sustainable solutions. So that's great to hear. Finally, to wrap up today, do you have any advice for someone that maybe is new to the world of sustainability, recycling, packaging? You obviously have a lot of experience. So what about those people who are brand new? What's some advice you could give them?
Yeah, what I like to say to them, because I've been working in this like a polymer area for over 30 years, I would say this polymer as well as the plastic industry is a fantastic industry. It can touch every aspect of your life. So look around, how many plastic products are there. So this is the awarding part. If you really see some of your innovation be turned into the product and everybody is using it, yeah, you will feel very excited. And therefore, I said this industry is challenging because you're facing some environmental issue, but it's also very rewarding. This is especially for the plastic recycling industry. And right now, there are a lot of challenges for the plastic recycling. And first of all, the scale, how to really scale this up, meaning from 9% right now, how can we really move it to the 40, 50%, 60, even higher? So there are a lot of infrastructure building. A lot of work can be done, and a lot of creative ideas are needed in this industry. But think about that. If you really achieve that, you will feel very excited because you turn all the material currently considered as waste things to be the useful material as a resource of the materials. That's a very exciting thing to do. And so if I really want to, you ask me to share some learning to these newcomers in this industry, I would say stick with this industry. You will see the rewarding end.
Agreed. Some sound advice from a longtime industry professional that we have been honored to work with over quite a few years now with APR. So thank you again to Jun for joining us today and sharing a lot of great insights about this recyclable tube and other important work that you're doing at Colgate-Palmolive, as well as the other groups you're involved with. So thanks, Jun.
Thanks a lot, Kara.
And thanks to everyone for listening as well. For more information about the APR Recycling Leadership Awards, nominations will be open soon in October of this year. So look for announcements there. But if you're also looking for more information about the APR Design Guide and much more, visit the APR website at plasticsrecycling.org. Check us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, and X at APR Recycles. We want to hear from you. Feel free to contact APR at info@plasticsrecycling.org. You can find recycled content wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review.
This podcast was recorded in the studios of
Policy Resolution Group, Washington.